So before I begin, yes, I'm wearing the same shirt as my last video because I am in a recording mood today. So there will be another video that I've recorded and you will see me in this same shirt. But go ahead. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hello, my name is Shanice. I make scary themed type of videos, so if that's something that you're interested in, go ahead and check out my other videos on my channel. Today I will be reacting to a fellow YouTuber. Her name is Haley Reese. I've been watching her videos like I want to say maybe 2 years now. Like, I really like her videos. She, like, I don't know, I feel like she see or feel like paranormal things. Like, she's sensitive to that type of stuff. So I really enjoy watching her videos. So I just felt like I might as well react to one of her videos that she uploaded recently. So the video we will be reacting to is called My Neighbor is a Black-Eyed Child. So if you're interested in watching the full video, go ahead and check out her video on her channel. The link will be down in the description below. Okay.
Hi my angels, it's Haley Reese, and I hope that you guys are having an absolutely fantastic morning, afternoon, night, whatever it is for you. When today's video finally reaches you, you guys, I am so
sound is lagging a little bit.
Nervous to share today's story with you, because if you guys have been on my channel for a while now,
I hope it's just not
you guys
my
would
phone.
know that one of the only things that I've ever looked into that has truly terrified me to my core was the black-eyed children. Actually, in fact, back when I researched that, I was still living at home, and I had to go pick my uncle up from work at around 11 p.m., and I ran so fast to my car, locked my car doors, and like my heart was racing because something about black-eyed children has never sat right with me. So naturally, when I discovered
I've always been scared of experiencing a black-eyed child, just because, you know, I've always heard the stories, like it will be a child coming up to you asking you for help, but you'll get this, instead of, you know, getting this feeling that of, okay, I'm worried about this child, let me help this child, you'll get the feeling of fear, as if it's this grown person, this grown creepy person, but instead you're getting it from a child. Like, I've always been paranoid. That's probably why, like, when I try to stay home at night. Like, other than my regular job that, you know, I work late night. But other than that, if I'm doing my side gig jobs, my cutoff time is 8:30, especially during the summer. During the winter, it's going to be earlier than that because, of course, it gets darker. But I try to get home before it starts getting dark, just because, like how I always say, I'm a female, I'm by myself, so you never know what's going to happen. So I'm try to stay safe as best as I can.
Black-eyed child encounter that's absolutely bone-chilling and has to do with their neighbor. I thought, why not bring it here on my channel, share it with you guys, and most importantly, get your guys' opinion.
Oh, I will keep checking if my video is recording, because I tried recording a video before this and I completed the whole video and only 1 minute and 50 seconds had only recorded. I did a whole video and I didn't record none of it. Like, I was so upset
on it because I did briefly read it and I am just like full of millions of questions. So that is exactly what we're going to be diving into today. So like I said, you guys, something about black-eyed children is very creepy to me. I actually say a lot that there's two specific things that really unsettle me, and that's when children turn terrifying and anything paranormal or supernatural or anything of that nature, and also when cute little toys are actually evil or possessed. Those two things, I think it's that I wish they could preserve the innocence, and when it goes dark, it just freaks me out.
There's no going
So,
back.
without further ado, sit back, relax, maybe turn a light on, and let's get into this true black-eyed child story. So the headliner
This is
says,
true?
"My neighbor is a black-eyed child." I know what you're thinking when you read that sentence. I know you probably think I'm about to share some made-up story made for the movies or something. But what I'm about to share is 1,000,000% the truth. And I don't know what else to do except for ask for someone's advice or opinions. Around 9 months ago, I was in the worst financial position I'd ever been in. I'd just been laid off, and unfortunately, I'd never been one to save much money. They say when the storm comes, it keeps on rolling, and that's what was showing to be true for me, because I also found myself evicted from my apartment due to past due payments I just couldn't catch up on.
Wow.
I honestly thought for a minute that I was going to become homeless and had accepted that fate. I had around $1,500 to my name, and while it's better than nothing, I was certain I'd never find a place in the time frame I needed for that price. I decided checking sketchy online postings will be better than sitting around waiting for the worst. And that's when I discovered a duplex needing a tenant immediately. Clicking on it, it was very clear it was run down and in a rural part of town, but rent was only $700 a month. And while the house was attached to a neighbor, it all seemed like a steal to me. I asked to see the place as quickly as I could and had an appointment to see it the next day. At first, I had trouble finding it. It was down a long country road with no neighbors around. I assumed this was a big reason that it was so cheap, but when I got to it, it looked just like the pictures. I met the landlord and he seemed all right. Knowing I didn't have much choice, I immediately asked him if I could get a rental application. He seemed just as excited to get me in there as I was to have a place to live. Before driving away, I turned to the landlord and asked one question I wish I dug deeper on. "Oh, by the way, how are my neighbors here?" He looked at me for a moment before giving a side smile. "Don't worry about them. They're rarely ever seen." And with that, I left. I found out a few days later I'd gotten the place and
Just
suddenly
because
felt like
they're rarely ever seen, are they rarely ever heard? Like, you can have some neighbors you never see, but you hear them all day long.
things could start looking up for me. I moved in, got settled, and tried to make it as homey as possible. A few weeks went by and everything was as you'd expect. I did take note though of the fact my neighbors never had a car, and I never saw them, but I actually grew to like the privacy. I was surrounded by fields, peace and quiet, two things that I never knew I needed so badly until I had them. Then it started. I can't even remember when it first happened, but at this point I do remember I was laying on the couch with a bowl of cereal. It had to have been after midnight. I should mention that my couch faces a big back window at the back of my place that looks into a field. I started to get this feeling of being watched. I couldn't shake it. It almost made me feel paranoid.
Right.
Suddenly, I looked over to the window and saw a child peeking in. My backlight lit the child just
Have
enough.
you guys ever felt like you dealt with or experienced a black-eyed child? Like, if you've ever, like, they've ever came up to you or you've seen them before? Let me know down in the description.
Me to be able to make out her pale features, jet black hair, and eerily jet black eyes. Something about it felt like a horror film. I immediately jumped up and ran outside to see if I could find the child. The child was nowhere in sight. There were no lights on in my neighbor's windows either. Please remember that. This would be the first of many dark, peeking eyes. I decided to invest in some curtains, bracket, something I should have had already, end bracket. The next time I spoke with my landlord, I thought to bring up the child, and to my surprise, he told me he was positive it was the neighbor's kid and not to worry. Even still though, her pale skin and pits for eyes haunted me. This has been happening for 8 months now, only it's slowly gotten worse. Since I got curtains, occasionally
They've been dealing with it for
one,
8 months?
asking to come in. When I go outside, I rarely see her, or I occasionally catch her running towards the back of the field. Please note, I have never seen my neighbors, ever. It's like they don't even exist. But that's where things get even eerier. A few weeks ago, I was coming home from a late, long drive. I do this sometimes to clear my head. As I pulled in, I noticed my neighbors actually had a dim light on in their window for the first time since I moved in. Looking up, nosily I admit, I was met with that little girl's face. Only this time, it was all the more obvious that she had eyes more black than the darkest sky. She let out the creepiest smile I've ever seen a child give, and then disappeared. I started looking into any possible answer as to who this child could be, but was always met with dead end.
That's why you don't look in other people's windows, because you may see something that might freak you out.
Until I discovered black-eyed children. How could my neighbor be a black-eyed child? She had the exact features. She even asked to come in. Do I even have real neighbors? I'm questioning everything at this point. I watched outside for a week straight, morning to night. No one ever left that house. How could they live there? The moment I stopped watching, in the night I heard, "Can I come in? Please, it's cold." But when I don't answer, she disappears. Before anybody comes for me saying there could be a child in need, please know that she disappears sometimes quicker than I can even get out the door. And honestly, it's made very obvious to me that she's not a real child at all. I guess I'm just desperately looking for some sort of answer. Maybe an explanation. My landlord doesn't answer anything when it comes to these questions. Surely someone can help me. I'm desperate and I don't know what will happen next if I keep living here, but I cannot afford to leave.
Wow.
Please help me. And that's the end. I don't know, you guys.
Alright, so that's the end of my video. I don't know what I would do if I personally ever have to deal with a black-eyed child. Like, as much as I would like to help a child in need, after hearing like you'll get the feeling of terror and just something in your gut is telling you not to, but then it's like something is making you in a way, like controlling you to allow them in or allow yourself to help them in a way. I don't know, like, that's crazy. But that's the end of my video. So if you guys are interested in watching her full video, her video will be linked down in the description below. And I will catch you guys in my next video. Peace.